This assembly will come to order. Hamilton College recognizes our collective responsibility to acknowledge our colonial history. Our campus is located on the ancestral and traditional lands of the United Nations. We express gratitude for the relationship between Chief Shenandoah and Samuel Kirkland, who founded the Hamilton Oneida Academy to educate Indigenous and settler youth together. That institution became Hamilton College. Today, the Hamilton College community commits itself to engaging in solidarity with the Oneida Nation and to ensuring that the perspectives and cultures of Indigenous peoples are honored and embraced. Please be seated. It is now my honor to introduce President David Whitman.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. After conducting this ceremony 2 years ago online and under a tent in Dunham Green last year, I'm delighted we are back in the chapel for Hamilton's 72nd Class and Charter Day. History and tradition are important, and Class and Charter Day is another way we link your time here on College Hill with the experiences and accomplishments of the students who went before you. And no building symbolizes the history of the college and its traditions better than the chapel, which is entering about its 200th year of service. As you may know, Class and Charter Day dates back to 1950, when President Robert McEwen of Dining Hall fame decided to combine the traditional class day with the college's informal birthday. That date in May 1812, when the college received its charter and became the third college in the state of New York and the 31st college in the country. Among other things, Class and Charter Day is an opportunity for us to recognize and celebrate academic achievement and service. But before we move to that part of our program, we're fortunate to be able to hear from one of our distinguished faculty. Our speaker this year is the 2021 recipient of the Samuel and Helen Lang Prize for Excellence in Teaching. Mark Cryer, chair of the theater department, has been teaching on College Hill since 1999. He earned a Master of Fine Arts in acting from the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama and studied Shakespeare at the Royal Academy of Art in London. In addition to teaching and directing student productions here at Hamilton, Mark also acts professionally, most recently in a production of August Wilson's Fences, which was performed earlier this year in Syracuse. He also performs with Hamilton graduates. In 2013, he performed with 1988 graduate Brenda Lee Tyler Rabin in The Merry Wives of Windsor in Saratoga Springs. And a few years later, he and Kiana Sosa, class of 2015, performed in The Mountaintop at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the largest arts festival in the world. The Mountaintop, which was nominated for the Amnesty International Freedom of Expression Award, debuted at Hamilton on Martin Luther King Day in that year, and it featured Mark as the slain civil rights leader. It was Mark's fourth performance at this prestigious festival, including his own one-act play, 99 Questions You've Always Wanted to Ask an African American, but were too afraid to ask. He's also appeared in several feature films, including Mighty Ducks 2, It Could Happen to You, and The Peacemaker. Students describe Mark as inspiring, challenging, and gifted. He put a lot of time and effort into challenging me and helping me learn because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, said one student, adding, never has a class with him gone by where I didn't feel like I grew both as an actor and a person. Said another, he's a very gifted actor, sure, but he is first and foremost a gifted professor. Of course, Mark doesn't spend all of his time teaching and acting. He's also an avid birder. He names all the animals that come to his backyard feeder, including a turkey, which he has named Dinner. just in case it should ever expire on his property. He also cultivates a large garden and has taken to disposing of excess tomatoes by waiting until his neighbors fall asleep, slipping over to their houses in the middle of the night, dropping the tomatoes on their doorstep, and running away. Please join me in welcoming a wonderful teacher, actor, scholar, birder, gardener, and this year's 2022 Class and Charter Day speaker, Professor Mark Cryer.
Thank you, David, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Dean Keene and Dean Martinez. We know that both of you are moving on from Hamilton, and I just wanted to say personally, thank you to both of you. You have both have been consequential deans, and so thank you for that. I would first like to thank the members of the Academy for this Best Actor Award. My wife, my fellow cast members, my publicist, who am I forgetting? I promise not to slap anyone. Too soon? I've always wanted to do that. I am truly humbled and honored to be speaking with you today. Class and Charter Day marks the end of the academic year, and we do so by acknowledging the amazing academic achievements of students and faculty. From the Bowman Prize Scholarship to the Watson Fellowship winners, all students recognized here today have done so through the face of extremely challenging circumstances presented by COVID. Students, be proud of your accomplishments. You have truly risen to the call of excellence. Faculty Teaching Award winners. Didn't know anybody was watching, did ya? It's always a surprise. Congratulations to each and every one of you on work well done. And a special shout out to a colleague of mine in the theater department, Jean Wilcoxon, who will be leaving Hamilton at the end of the academic year. Jean, thank you. You made us better. Last year, I was awarded the Samuel and Helen Lang Prize for Excellence in Teaching, given to a faculty member for having a profoundly positive effect on their students, inspiring, if you will. Now, be forewarned, I was given just 2 bits of guidance for this speech. Keep it under 15 minutes and be inspiring, please. Okay, let's rock. I began to think about how I inspire my students. And it starts, I believe, with the first day when I share the first two rules of acting. Rule number 1, you must have an objective, something you're fighting for. Otherwise, you're just reciting words you memorized off a page. And rule number 2, don't be shy. Always, always take the free food. Now, you'll have a better understanding of rule number 2 when you're in between jobs. Now, I don't lie to my students, and I think that inspires them. When they do bad work, I say, yeah, that really sucked. Or, yeah, watching what you did there, well, that made me throw up a little inside. Or, whoa, that one really made me dyspeptic. Now, those are all commonplace responses to student work in my class. Now, in my defense, I do say it with a certain charm and humor, and I always make sure I give them feedback so that they can improve and won't suck mud butt the next time I see their work. I routinely share highlights from my life, current projects, and career as examples to help teach my students about how acting, living a life, and making a choice prepares you to be an actor and an artist. Some find inspiration in the story of how I first started acting. I was in the 1st grade, 6 years old, and I constantly sucked these 2 fingers. The only time they came out of my mouth was when I was eating or talking. We were doing a play about dances around the world, and nobody wanted to hold my wet, slimy hand. So there was one speaking role in the play, the role of the narrator, and it was given to me. And there was just one single joke. And when the audience laughed, I was hooked on acting for the rest of my life. I will often share the story of the first time I taught with my TAs as a way of inspiring them and letting them know that teaching is a learned craft. My first teaching experience was a group of 25 fifth graders at Sheridan Elementary School in St. Paul, Minnesota. I remember them because I'm certain that those little bastards were the spawn of Satan. They knew that my inexperience was a weakness, and they took joy in exploiting it every single day. I was so mad at them one day, I said, "I am never coming back to this class again." Their response was, "Good." I like to share stories of my experience in the Air Force as a way of humanizing myself to my students and reminding them that I too once was young. In the Air Force, I learned 3 important lessons: how to track an enemy aircraft from 30,000 feet in the air, how to hold my liquor, and how to roll 2-paper seedless joints. I didn't inhale, President Whitman. When a heartbroken student comes to me for relationship advice, I will share with them the story of my first wife, who, when she left, took everything in the house, including the light bulbs. And then I will share with them the story of how I met my current wife as a way of inspiring them and letting them know that this too shall pass. I was doing Illusion Theater in Minneapolis, was producing a play that I had written. And at the ungodly hour of 8 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang. And on the other end was this lady named Kim calling from the theater. I mumbled a few curse words at her and I hung up. I went into the theater later on that day with the sole intention of yelling at her, and I found her standing in the kitchen, and when I saw her, I fell in love. I knew in that instant this was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And 31 years later, and for the first and only time in my marriage, I can say that I was right. For students who are unused to the diversity makeup here on campus, or the lack thereof, I like to share and comfort and inspire them by recounting the story of my first duty station in Duluth, Minnesota, and how I arrived on January 6th in 1978 at the bus station downtown. And as I looked around, I saw 2 things I'd never seen before in my life: snow everywhere I looked, and white people everywhere else. I thought I'd been dropped into an episode of the Brady Bunch. Now, there is a rather, I think, inspiring story around these funky, fuzzy blue pants. These pants are the most comfortable pants I've ever owned in my life. And when COVID first hit and we had to teach remote, I would wear these pants whenever I taught. I'd put on a shirt, comb my hair, brush my teeth, and I would teach, never showing what I was wearing below the waist. Now, while these pants are very comfortable, teaching online was not. It always felt hollow. So when faculty were given the opportunity of teaching in person or remote, I chose to teach in person. And the first day of that fall semester, I showed these pants to my students. And I told them that I would not put these pants on again until we made it to the end of the semester. And I then tacked these pants to the bulletin board in my office, and there they stayed until the holiday break. We made it through the fall semester and then the spring without an interruption to in-person teaching. And I have never been prouder of my Hamilton students or Hamilton College. Now, I know our numbers aren't the best in the world right now, but when it counted, when lives were on the line, pre-vaccine, Hamilton students, faculty, staff, and administration stepped up, and we showed our true mettle and who we can be as a community. Now, my personal journey through academia has included being a minority inside a minority of sometimes one. In my undergraduate program, which consisted of 270 theater majors, I was the only African American. In my graduate program, not only was I the only African American, but in Glasgow, Scotland, a city of over 500,000, I'm pretty sure that I was the only African American in the city. So when I came to Hamilton and discovered that there were already 7 BIPOC faculty here who were tenured, to many of my experiences in academia, that was a marked improvement. Now, I would be lying to you if I told you that during my tenure here, there weren't growing pains. There were times I had to fight for my place, had to fight to have my artistic voice heard, fight against what I considered tokenism. Unable to direct plays in my department on the main stage, eventually, through administrative and departmental support, I was able to create a series called the M Theater Project, M standing for multicultural, where I would direct a multicultural play here on campus, and every 4 years we would take that play and perform it at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland. No longer under the banner of M Theater, this summer will be my 6th show at the festival. I'm doing a one-man show called Thorogood, about Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court Justice. And in it, I'll be directed by a senior theater major, Aaron Simmons. At some point the next academic year, I will perform that show here on campus as well. My story of being the only one, or one of the few, is not unique among BIPOC faculty, nor are the challenges we faced in our personal journeys in academia. Not every BIPOC faculty member at Hamilton has felt supported or been able to overcome the challenges that are sometimes presented here. That's in part my fault. I have been so focused on the day-to-day responsibilities of chairing my department that I forgot, as a senior BIPOC faculty member, I owe a debt of support and mentorship to junior BIPOC faculty members. That ends today. I have made a choice, a commitment to support the campus-wide effort to retain and mentor BIPOC faculty. And I stand at the ready to help the new incoming dean in charge of diversity initiatives in any way I can. Be the change you seek. Be the change you seek. It's another way I hope to inspire my students by modeling what an engaged community member looks like. There is a James Baldwin quote I use at the start of each semester in all my classes. The purpose of art is to lay bare the questions hidden by the answers. Teaching acting is teaching what questions to ask and then answering those questions by making a choice. And knowing thyself is at the core of an actor's craft. That my students find inspiration in that is pretty cool. It means I've shared my passion with them. In closing, I want to share my personal favorite make a choice moment in my life because it's one that's inspired me for over 30 years. I was on tour with my African American history plays in a small town in southern Minnesota called Slayton, where there are no African Americans. Never have been any African Americans. And unless I go back there again, won't be any African Americans. I got there early and stopped at the local Dairy Queen or A&W, I can't remember which, for lunch. And as I walked into the restaurant, a hush fell over the entire crowd. And the silence was only broken by the excited voice of a 4 or 5-year-old little girl who said, "Mommy, mommy, 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 look, it's a chocolate person." Now, I've been called a lot of things in my life. Some of them I can't repeat in the chapel, and some of them by my wife, but never chocolate. As I collected my food, I made a choice to stop by that little girl's table, and I introduced myself. I said, "My name is Mark Cryer, and I am an African American." I said all of this loud enough so that everybody in the restaurant could hear, because their continued silence told me they were still listening. In the end, I did a dog howl from the show I was going to be performing later on that afternoon. And that little girl, she laughed and she smiled. as did most of the people in that restaurant that day. Make a choice. Make a choice that can change and inspire your life and perhaps the lives of others that you encounter. Make a choice. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to recognize this year's student award winners. I would like to begin by recognizing the recipients of the prize scholarships. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing until we applaud you. Audience, please hold your applause until I offer congratulations to all the prize scholarship winners. You'll know that I'm doing that because I will say the word congratulations. The Dr. Philip I. Bowman Prize Scholarship, Aaron Pimento. The Madeline Wild Bristol Prize Scholarship in Music, Lucas Jonathan Wang Chung. The Coleman Burke Prize Scholarship, Claire Nelly. The Carter Family Prize Scholarship, Kelvin Nunez. The Class of 2003 Memorial Prize Scholarship, Jorge Perez Vasquez. The Class of 2009 Community Service Memorial Prize Scholarship, Olivia James. The Thomas E. Colby III Prize Scholarship in German, Gregory Duke. The Frank C. and Marion D. Coleridge Prize Scholarship, Marvin Lopez. The Curran Prize Scholarship, Charlie James. The Ned Doyle Prize Scholarships, Isa Cardosa and Chloe Maldonado. The Dr. Edward R. Fitch Prize Scholarships in Classical Language, Eileen Cohn and Maggie Nye. The Randall J. Harris Prize Scholarship, Olivia James. The L. David Hawley Prize Scholarship in Geology, Annika Telos. The Leonard E. and Sue J. Kingsley Prize Scholarship, Christian Hernandez Barragan and Claire Nelly. The Kirkland Alumni Prize Scholarship, Elizabeth Militello. The Paul S. Langa Prize Scholarship, Nancy Lowe. The Michael Maslin 01 Memorial Prize Scholarship, Marvin Lopez. The Carl B. Menges Prize Scholarship in College Governance, James Argo. The Robert Leet Patterson Prize Scholarships in Philosophy, Xavier Alvarez Barak, Emily Furman, Natalie Martinez, and Catherine Schmidt. The Frank Humphrey Ristine Prize Scholarship, Evan Robinson. The Jenny Rubin Memorial Prize Scholarship, Olivia James. The William John Schickler III Prize Scholarship, Summer Mead. The Frederick Reese Wagner Prize Scholarship in English, McKinley Abernathy and Emma Swan. The Sam Welsh Memorial Prize Scholarship in Computer Science, William Bresnahan and Madison LaPointe. The Sidney and Eleanor Wertimer Prize Scholarships in Economics, Jacob Gliedman and Claire Kaplan and Sean McAvoy, Zoe Sauvé, and Alan Chow. Congratulations to our prize scholarship winners. Winners, please be seated. Now you know the drill. You're going to wait for the word congratulations. Now I'd like to recognize the winners of achievement prizes. The American Chemical Society Awards, Benjamin Grumman, Catherine Pinecoffer, and Alana Wood. The Babcock Prize in Philosophy and Pedagogy, Heather Devlin and Eliza Jones. The Edwin Barrett Prize, Chen Chun Lee and Summer Mead. The James L. Bennett Prize, Trevor Schuing. The Emily and Alfred Bone Prize in Studio Art, Katrina Colby. The Frederick Edmund Alexis Bush Award, Jackson Harris. The G. Harvey Cameron Memorial Prize, Claire Nelly. The Coop Service Prizes, Casey Brown, Mackenzie Christensen, Mary Kirchhoff, Avery Lum, Alejandro Polito, Isabel Retke, and Amy Chai. The Nelson Clark Dale Jr. Prize in Music, Olivia Seymour and Julian Snyder. The Darling Prize in American History, Kenneth Tallarico Jr. The Donald J. Denny Prize in Physical Chemistry, Samantha Brown, Caleb Phelan, and Jacob Ryan. The Arthur O. Eve Prize, Denzel Capellan, Crystal Lynn, and Angie Rescalvo. The Michael T. Genco Jr. Prize in Photography, Kristen Holness. The William Gillespie Prize in Art, Satchel McLaughlin. The Adam Gordon Campus Service Awards, Ashley Garcia, Sapphire Ruiz, and DeJuan Smith. The Edgar Baldwin Graves Prize in History, Elizabeth Atherton and Catherine Biederman. The David J. Gray Senior Prize in Sociology, Hannah Peterson and Isabel Retke. The Mary McMaster Halleck Prize in Science, Gavin Schaefer Hood. The Hamilton College Campus Service Awards, Amanda Clifford, Catherine Rockford, and Amy Chai. The Charles J. Hasbrook Prize in Art History, Lydia McGinn. The Hawley Prizes in Greek and Latin, Claire Liss and Casey Brown. The Holbrook Prize in Biology, Alexa Bosco and Madeline Wallace. The Konstantin Karamanlis Prize in World Politics, Michaela Canu and Alexander Namath. The Kirkland Prize in Mathematics, Mukund Jayaram, and Madison LaPointe. The Neeland Prize, Lucy Naughton. The Edwin B. Lee Jr. Prize in Asian History, Asian Studies, Joseph Hahn. The Jonathan Martyr Prize, Madeline Howe and Sosha Stecker. The Jeremy T. Medina Prize, Colin Doyle. The Thomas E. Meehan Prize in Creative Writing, Carmen Moses and Hannah Terrau. The J. Barney Moore Prize in Art, Emma Berry. The Norton Prize, Nathaniel Keyes, Catherine Pinecoffer, Gavin Schaefer Hood, and Alana Wood. The Walter Pilkington Memorial Prize, Alexandra Reboredo and Emma Mae Regan. The prizes for excellence in Japanese language and literature, Chuslin Butbayat, Bo Guang Li, and Tianzi Lin. The Putnam Prize in American History, Duncan Freeman. The Renwick Prize in Biology, Audrey Choi and Rose Corcoran. The Rogers Prize in Geology, William Bresnahan. The Sadler Skinner Prizes for Excellence in Chinese Language and Literature, Norbu Lendup and Rachel Liu. The Senior Prize in Africana Studies, William Buddington. The Senior Prize in Biochemistry Molecular Biology, Eva Abel and Yun Xiao Chun. The Senior Prize in Dance, Jackson Bedward. The Senior Prize in Economics, James Argo and Sana Salimi. The Senior Prize in Environmental Studies, Charlotte Gutterman and Lilia Harlan. The Senior Prize in Government, Melanie Geller. The Senior Prize in Neuroscience, Sarah Baragamian and Madison Sackheim. The Senior Prize in Theater, Benjamin Light. The B.F. Skinner Prize, Hannah Reck and Fawn Xiong. The H. Samuel Slater Prize in Romance Languages, Grace Goldberg, Eva Hayes, and Sophia Sherman. The Southworth Prize in Physics, Samantha Wilkerson. The Squires Prize in Philosophy, Ivy Huang and Elise Wilson. The Tompkins Prize in Mathematics, Chiara Bondi and Matthew Jankowski. The Underwood Prize in Chemistry, Catherine Pinecoffer. The John Lovell Waters Prize, Eleanor Arnold. The Karen Williams Theater Prize, Juliet Davidson. The Woman of Color Scholarship, Anusha Karki and Ariana Silva. The Wild Prize in German, Diane Lee Ferguson and Hauken Washington. Congratulations to the winners of our Achievement Prizes. The next group includes prize winners for both writing and speaking. Earlier this semester, the following students competed for these public speaking prizes. I am pleased to recognize the winners. The Clark Prize, Huari Zhang. The McKinney Speaking Prizes, Tanashe Mangua and Abigail Wolfe. The Warren E. Wright Prize in Public Speaking, Abigail Wolfe. Now I'd like to acknowledge our Writing Prize recipients. The Dean Alfange Essay Prizes, Ella Gaspar and Jason Lever. The Adam Gordon Poetry Prize for first-year students, Jane Pratt. The Doris M. and Ralph E. Hansman Poetry Prize, Madison Lazenby. The Wallace Bradley Johnson Prize, Cecily Bua and Sky Dupree. The Kellogg Essay Prizes, Sophie Christensen, Gabriela de Mendoza Gomez, and Elise Miserak. The Kirkland Endowment Essay Prize in Interdisciplinary Studies, Lillian Norton Brainerd. The Raphael Lemkin Essay Prize, Matthew Pruce. The William Rosenfeld Chapbook Prize in Creative Writing, Jamali Matthews. The Soper Essay Prize, Ha Chen. The Rose B. Tager Prize, Audrey Choi and Richard Steele. The George A. Waitress Literary Prizes, Rachel Liu, twice recognized, Kimberly Ramirez, and Anne Wrong. The John V.A. Weaver Prize in Poetry, Eva Glassman. The Sidna Stern Weiss Essay Prize in Women's Studies, Ashley Garcia. Congratulations to the winners of our Speaking and Writing Prizes. We will now recognize the fellowship and scholarship winners. The Manly F. Albright Fellowship, Jacob Hain. The Bristol Fellowship, Joseph Comisar and Alejandro Polito. The Cochia Foundation Scholarship, Kate Bacigalupo, Sabrina Broderick, and Lily Rizzioli. The Critical Language Scholarship, Fabiola Alvarez and Shunaya Kuo. The Davis United World Scholars Program, Zhaoji Zhao, Jamali Matthews, the FAO Schwartz Fellowship, Jamali Matthews. The Fulbright Grants for Graduate Study, Research, and Teaching Abroad, Finley Adamson, Sarah Bargamian, Emma Berry, Hannah Peterson, Angie Rescalvo, and Amy Jai. Fund for Education Abroad, Dwayne Martin Jr. and Nicole Ramirez. The Gilman International Scholarship, Basil Bennett Brown, Hannah Ju, Felipe Luis Lopez Cruz, Kaylee Martin, Abigail Moon, Obiamaka Nadika, Jacqueline Prunier, Tenzin Sherpa, Adrielle Wanjajango, Adam Valencia. Projects for Peace was Adam Valencia. I skipped the name of the project. The Thomas J. Watson Fellowship, Dylan Morse. The Judge John Wells Fellowship, Tai Chen Jin and Jenny Chun. Congratulations to our fellowship and scholarship recipients. I would now like to recognize the new members of VASLOS and Pentagon. The newest members of VASLOS are Jack Grant, Tam Ha, Christian Hernandez Barragan, Xavier Nelson, Katie Powell, Cole Ravel, and Alyssa Zamudio. And Pentagon's newest inductees are Surya Gowda, Mark Blessing Harrington, Clarissa Hurley, Niara Kothia, and Maya Wynn Habernuski. And now I'd like to recognize the members of Phi Beta Kappa. James Argo, Sarah Bargamian, Kayla Beardsley, Emma Berry, Casey Brown, Heather Devlin, Aaron Ebert, Lilia Harlan, Adele Hinkle, Madeline Howe, Ivy Huang, Christopher Inkyoff, Mukund Jurayam, Joseph Commissar, Chi-Kwan Kwei, Avery Lum, Lydia McGinn, Hannah Reck, Jillian Rhodes, Madison Sackheim, Sosha Stecker, Samantha Tasillo, Emily Walker, Madeline Wallace, Fan Shung. Congratulations to all of our Honor Society inductees. It is now my pleasure to award our two special prizes. The Milton F. Phileas Jr. Joseph Drown Prize Scholarship, established by the Joseph Drown Foundation and named in memory of Milton Phileas, class of 1944, is awarded to a student completing the junior year who has been exceptional academically, has demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities while at Hamilton, and is likely to make a significant contribution to society in the future. This year's recipient's leadership can be seen on the football team, where his coach says he is a player that his teammates look up to. His work ethic, accountability for everything that is asked of him, and his commitment level to the program have been a great example for his peers. He is a highly valued member of our program who has served as a mentor for his younger teammates while acting as a great example and leader within our football program. His mentorship does not end on the field. He was a physics mentor on campus and recently became a volunteer high school tutor in algebra and biology. This extremely driven and self-motivated young man is majoring in physics. He's a member of the pre-med program and intends to declare a double minor in math and music. Through Stony Brook Hospital, he has been a contributing author and volunteer researcher on 2 papers about cardiovascular surgery. He is also a volunteer EMT for our county. Described as a kind, conscientious, and intelligent young man who displays a high level of dedication to all of his endeavors, this year's recipient of the Milton Phileas Jr. Joseph Drown Prize Scholarship is Ryan Smolarski. Congratulations, Ryan. The James Soper Merrill Prize, established in memory of James Soper Merrill by his cousin, James P. Soper, class of 1911, is awarded at commencement to that member of the graduating class who in character and influence has best typified the highest ideals of the college. This year's recipient has had a profound impact on Hamilton, both deep and far-reaching, changing our campus for the better. He has served in the Black and Latinx Student Union, and through his efforts, the BLSU has been able to continue its important work of creating and sustaining space for students of color to process and discuss campus issues and to gather to promote joy, healing, and community. Also, as student ambassador to the DMC, he developed programming to promote inclusivity and community building for the general betterment of students of marginalized identities on campus. He has lifted the spirits of others through laughter and music and has lent an ear as an RA, helping others with their problems. He is co-captain of the Heat dance team, which encourages self-expression and brings community members together through dance. He is also a co-founder of Roots, Hamilton's Society for Students of Color in STEM. In summary, as one faculty member wrote, he is an empathetic leader who is often a mentor and champion of his peers, and the connections he fostered will benefit so many of our students throughout their careers. However, one shouldn't overlook his astounding academic achievements. As one faculty member wrote, he He speaks directly and with great insight about topics and situations that are difficult to navigate, and in doing so, he navigates the situation for himself and others. He seems to know intuitively how to define something, whether it is a scientific concept or a social dynamic. I have rarely observed that ability in a student. He excels in difficult classes and challenging research opportunities. His participation in medical research has had profound impact and reach. In the science lab, one faculty member describes him as intellectually fearless and frankly unstoppable while making progress on some of the most technically challenging and tedious research I have ever been a part of. He was solving problems in 5 months that had been worked on for 5 years. In the classroom, his questions were persistent and always profound, cutting to the core of the material, whether a reading assignment or presentation. Likewise, his energy was infectious and positively transformative for the classroom dynamic. He was a tremendous asset to the course. It is no wonder that this biochemistry major's next step after graduation will be to conduct research at the Broad Institute's Klarman Cell Observatory and to earn an MD, PhD in the future. This will not be the first time his name has been read for an award at Hamilton College. He is a Hamilton Posse Scholar, and he has been on the Dean's List and the Vossloos Honor Society. He has been awarded the Charles A. Dana, Ned Doyle, Donald A. Hamilton, William John Schickler III Prize, and Phileas Drown scholarships. And now he will be awarded Hamilton College's most prestigious student award, but I'm sure this won't be the last time we hear his name in accolades. Please join me in congratulating the 2022 recipient of the James Soper Merrill Prize, Joelle Adade. Congratulations, Joelle. I would now like to recognize our distinguished faculty members who've been honored with faculty awards for teaching. I will mention that 14 more of them received awards for scholarship that were announced in the faculty meeting, but this ceremony focuses on things that students nominated faculty for, so the teaching awards. These people were among the citations that I read at the last faculty meeting, so they know who they are. The Sidney Werdemer Award, awarded by the Student Assembly, Jean Wilcoxon, Assistant Professor of Theater. And Jean, maybe we can do the same drill where you stand up if you're here, and we'll have all the faculty stand. Excellent. Okay, stay standing, stay standing. And we're going to wait until I read all the names, and then we'll cheer for everybody. The Jerome Gottlieb 64 Fellowship for Exemplary Coaching, Jamie King, Director of Racket Sports and Professor of Physical Education. The John R. Hatch Class of 1925 Excellence in Teaching Award, Marissa Ambio, Assistant Professor of Hispanic Studies. The Class of 1962 Outstanding Teaching Award, Karen Brewer, Professor of Chemistry. The Class of 1963 Excellence in Teaching Award, Amy Koenig, Assistant Professor of Classics. The Samuel and Helen Lang Prize for Excellence in Teaching, Kyoko Omori, Associate Professor of Japanese. Congratulations, my dear colleagues.
Please stand. We will now listen to the choir sing Carissima. Everyone is invited to the all-campus picnic that is taking place on the Dunham Green. Please remain in your places until the procession has left the chapel. This assembly is adjourned.